This is things you might have heard from the Conversation Project. I am Jay Cooper Payne, and the Conversation Project is your home for headline news, information, and pop culture references that are worth today. And as a person who, not even trying to hide things, tends to butcher people's names in the process of saying things, today's going to be a day where uh, leave it up to my heart, my head, and my heart, because we have some really deep, disturbing things going on, including starting off with the top story, because we have to do the top story. There's so many massive news things affecting our world right now. That's something that keeps coming back and forth. Unfortunately, it's Jeffrey Epstein. We'll talk about that off the bat. Plus, Curtis Sliwa is being pushed, urged to push out of the race because they want a shot at me. And of course, we have one Donald Trump story. We're going to wait to the end. You have to guess which crazy thing we're talking about today. Those are 8 stories every day. You know how we do this. Every single weekday morning, we give you 8 stories from 10 on Monday that get you into the mix of stories you think are really chatting about. You find them and you help us pick them up by going to our feeds on Facebook and X and finding them there. Go to our website, this is conversationproject.com, for all the links to all the places. And of course, today, also sponsors and partners as well. Today, we're going to spotlight ground news as we usually do. Great source for all what you're looking for and what we use every single day. Let's get into this one. This is a heavy one, so just kind of go with us. We're starting it right now, essentially with a big bang. The new Virginia Giuffre, and hopefully I'm going to say it properly, memoir is revealing new abuse allegations against her father and ties to Jeffrey Epstein. The new memoir centers on her own voice and adds allegations to what went on in her life. Her father abused her as money to Epstein's, which equals nonsense. Beyond Prince Andrew, the book widens the lens to recruitment, grooming, and the ecosystem that enabled Epstein's trafficking, including the Mar-a-Lago points. Yet Mar-a-Lago was involved in this earlier than many people thought. Editorially, the memoir is being treated as a posthumous testimony. Of course, she died recently. Now this is coming out after her passing, and her words come out there, which are resonating with many folks, including a lot of victims of Jeffrey Epstein, who are saying, I may not have done this exactly, it may not have been exactly this detail, but this sounds exactly like essentially what would happen and something I could have been into in the right situations, or in this case, the wrong situations. Outlets are emphasizing new details rather than the new defendants in here. Essentially, all the new things popping out that are not what we've done before or have remembered in the past, but things that actually make more sense in the now. Expect renewed legal and reputational risk for many folks. Jason Epstein, we're seeing right now where Prince Andrew is now longer Prince, given the Duke of York title because Epstein. Now, excerpts of trauma-informed details are hard to get to, and so try not to go to all the big flashy stuff. Essentially, click the link in the description to see what's going on. Search for the stuff going on. It was released just yesterday, so it's a full first day of actually being in the public to see. But there's plenty of people out there giving commentary on what's going on. Obviously, people want Epstein files released, they want more details released, they want everything out there. But this is one more piece that is not Epstein file that gets going on too, that may give some insight to what was going on, or may just reinforce what you believe was going on at the moment. Republicans are asking, not quite begging, but sort of pushing for Curtis Sliwa to face the pressure and actually quit the New York City mayor race. So hopefully get Zohran Mamdani out of the way. The new storyline for Sliwa is flipping on what's going on. Now, I did a story of a couple weeks back where apparently I wasn't quite clear enough when I was saying the 3 amigos that were doing the debate, essentially Mamdani and the other 2 guys were just sort of there. With people saying, "You what? No, 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 front runner. What are you talking about? Mamdani is the man." Come on, Zap. I can't see it, isn't it? Mamdani is the man. Mamdani is the man in a spotlight where there's basically, to be honest, no real great answer, because everywhere you go with these things, from my standpoint, the reason why I wouldn't want to live there. Now, the big issue is they want to make sure that Mamdani does not make it to keep Zohran out of the governor's or the mayor's mansion. They're pushing all the chips on Andrew Cuomo. Everyone, everyone. So that means the third wheel basically didn't have a chance in the first place, needs to get out there. So Republicans are asking for a concession to get Sliwa out of the game so that hopefully his votes will go to a Cuomo, which is a independent slash Democrat. Makes things work out. Local reporting shows that party chairs in all five bureaus are actually backing him, that's Siwa, saying that he's actually the man to make it happen. However, on the larger, grander scale, it gets complicated. So, as I said, the math of this isn't as simple as it looks like. All the press, the polls talking in the city say, we want change, we want this new guy. But it's not exactly a clear statement, and everyone who's sort of shouting out aren't actually watching the tea leaves and looking what's going forward. There's things to be changed, and while he is, for essentially, the front runner, the people's champ, if you will, there's a whole lot of policy things that will go down if he makes it in and tries or even succeeds what he's done. And so in order to keep the Mamdani out, they're pushing for the Cuomo, weirdly enough. And to do that, they've got to get rid of the Sliwa. Will this happen? Probably not. But we're going to see how it plays out in weeks as this election is going to have effects. Chaos theory in full effect for what happens in a big city like New York that is, while not exactly a real representation of many places around this nation, representation of how we are doing things politically in the world that's just flat out crazy right now. Oh, this is crazy. Arizona is now suing Speaker Mike Johnson because he is blocking the Democrats swearing in ahead of a key vote. Back to Epstein, oddly enough, and back to the government not being open. Arizona's AG is suing to force the swearing in of new Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, always butcher her name, arguing that Speaker Mike Johnson is delaying her actual swearing in because once she's in, she's going to sign some paperwork and take a pledge to want the Epstein files out. She's essentially an expert vote to make that happen, and Johnson doesn't want to make that happen. Now, Arizona's complaint says that they don't have a representative right now. There's no one to actually vote for them, although they're not voting on anything in the House. So Arizonans are being left disenfranchised by Mike Johnson. What's Mike Johnson say about this one? Nancy Pelosi did the same thing. Pretty much it. Because as far as you can tell, Speaker Johnson has sworn in some other folks who were Republicans under similar circumstances, just sort of had him, did it, whatever. He said that, you know what, she needs to have the full swap in circumstance, her family, all the folks around, all the good stuff. Now it's just like, yeah, Pelosi didn't do it. So procedurally, it's really not that hard to do. And the suit itself is a little bit out of the way, but the judge gets a chance to look at this to see if it's really an act that should be pushed on there because the Arizonians don't have a representative. No one is actually speaking for them, literally, because the guy who's supposed to put her in charge of that side won't do it because odd enough, Epstein. So we'll see how this works out going forward and when we'll get back to some sort of government opening. We're now at 22 days, second longest on history, longest over 40 days by President Trump. The other one, or the 45 one, so we'll see how that works out. But in the meantime, nothing's getting done. Literally nothing's getting done. And we all see on display our tax dollars and our brain trust people who sent to do stuff for us. Literally not do anything for us. Warner Brothers Discovery stock is sort of fluctuating up, down, up, down, up, down. But a lot of people paying attention because they have confirmed interest in a sale. People want to buy pieces or all of it, and all options are on the table. Now, one of the things is that literally all options are on because it's not just one minor buyer or one guy willing to put up with it or break it down. There are apparently outlets, multiple ones, who are trying to get in on the game to get a piece or all of Warner Brothers Discovery. The original plan that was sort of being put out there was that Warner Brothers and Discovery was put up. Warner Brothers, the part that would actually be like HBO and the streaming services, and Discovery would be some of the minor channels. Now that other folks are trying to back their way into this one, you may see that it all stays together or gets broken up in different ways, or they flip flop what's going forward. We will see how this plays out. Strategically, there's now leverage for Warner Brothers Discovery because they don't necessarily have to be forced to sell to save themselves. They can actually negotiate to a bid. Now, bankers are going to look for the right carve outs, the right whole cloth bids to make things work out. There are various different rights. There's all the debt that the company has. There's rights to various agencies such as sports and other intellectual property out there. And of course, HBO Max. What's going on with all the stuff around there going forward. Rivals and enemies are coming together to figure out which can get a piece of this thing, and it's going to be a real ugly thing. But it's going to be interesting how this plays out in the future of all our media extremely soon. Quick pause from the news points. News points up go. We got you 4 down. We promise you 8 on a Wednesday, and we'll get them to you. But right now, we need to have you help us out a bit, or at least ask. We produce this thing here and many things on the channel, and many things inside of More Better Media, with the hopes that someone's actually watching, listening, reading, learning, getting something out of it. So for this in particular, for the Conversation Project, we are doing fairly well. We've got some monetization items here. We've got some people actually buying merch and hitting some of our sponsors. But we need more people involved because it's a game of numbers. The more people we have to share it with folks, the more chance we have to basically buy from us. Less be asking for stuff and more other people just coming to us. So like, share, and subscribe. This is the part where we ask you that every single weekday in this show. Like the video you're watching here, and more algorithm love should come to it. More people liking it, the algorithm should say, hey, this is good, let's share it more feet. And if I see more likes to it, I say, hey, this is good, let's do more of these things. If you share it with like-minded people and they like it and they like it as well, I'll have more love that way. And if you're not getting this directly into the feeds and you find you do like it or you hate like it, okay with that, subscribe. Subscribe here on YouTube or here on X or here on Facebook, however you're watching us. And when you're on X and Facebook, you also get a chance to see as we post every 15 minutes or so the news feeds, in the feeds, stories we can vote on, vote up, vote down, engage in and tell us what stories we're going to like to talk about today. A lot of stories here were coming from the engagement today, not a lot of breaking news in here, but there's some we got that going for. But these are stories that posted all these on you guys thought were interesting, so we're talking about them with you now. It's that simple. How about that? How about the apples or pumpkins since it's going Halloween? Like, share, and subscribe, and we will have more news nerds and news nation to grow. Your earworm for the day is the fifth dimension, or it's the fifth element. I totally butchered that, but it's my beautiful. We just like to ride in it, not crash into an airplane, as the space debris from the United flight with the broken windshield and it had left the pilot with a bloody arm is suspected to be a weather balloon, not actually space debris. Investigators now say it is a weather balloon, likely cracked the windshield. United cockpit windshield at 36,000 feet, and it was not actually falling debris from space. Windborne Systems acknowledges one of its balloons may have been the object that the NTSB are targeting, and the FAA as they are engaged in figuring out what's going on. Space junk because something from the sky, something in the air hit the windshield and cracked it in midair was the original sort of thought process of Thor and Hammer's gods. But the headlines were retracted pretty quickly once they realized, oh, it wasn't something from space, just something taking up space, a balloon. That was very, very, the takeaway from this is that altitude corridors for research balloons will now have to get checked out, just like we're checking altitude and runway conditions for planes not running into each other. Other things in the sky are there. We do say that air flight is the safest way to go around because there's really a hard chance to not see something near you. Except when it's a small weather balloon and a large plane that can't quite dodge that thing. The Parliament of Japan has elected Sanae Takaichi as its new prime minister, marking the first woman to hold the post in a coalition here there in the nation. Her ideology is a hard right on security and social policies. So she's kind of a Trumpian, and the cabinet picks suggest symbolism about the reform. A Trumpian and a lady. So the LDP aligned with Ishin to regain the working majority of the parliament after Community fractures go back and forth. Yeah, that means absolutely. The big thing is there's a lady in parliament, the first time ever going forward. She's actually a rock and roll guitarist. She's a pretty interesting person, and she's already working deals to raise more military for Japan. Why not? She's talking to Trump and sounding very Trumpian for a Japanese lady. We shall see if we have a new Iron Lady or an Iron Samurai lady. do that going forward in Japan. Uh, Historic, but going to be some policy issues that are going to be some hard charging going forward that we will see and we'll talk about going forward. But right now, let's celebrate the history that's made. And this is a story that's been floating for some time, and it can't seem to get off the top headlines from many news stories. This happened like over Friday. We are talking about now because it's been stretched. It was posted late, and we're talking about the Charlotte Chess Center, which announced that Daniel Naroditsky dead at age 29, and right now, no cause of death has been displayed as far as we can tell, but trick is pouring out across other grandmasters fans across the chess community. Obituaries highlight his dual impact of elite blitz strength and massive teaching footprint on Twitch and YouTube. How he got to be such a big person, essentially doing a social media thing to show his work. U.S. Chess and AP retrospectives track his path from world youth champion to his national blitz title holder. Editorially, this is something that's a bit of a sort of a mix because the story has some sensitivity. Uh, Avoiding any speculation about death, nothing as far as I can tell has been introduced yet. This is someone that in a sort of shadow second world that is chess. And trust me, if you're following the chess drama right now, you know how big it is. It's a big deal. More events and things will happen for a while. Chess things are happening all over the place. If you're a chess player, you have seen him on YouTube and know of him, probably seen playing things going forward. Otherwise, you shall see more of the line of learning chess stuff in the future. And finally, our Trump story of the day, because Trump does lots of things and we had to do some Trump things today. Which one did we pick for our picker going into the wrap up of this one? Well, Donald Trump has to pay himself, which doesn't sound all that bad. Back in the day when we wrote checks to ourselves, you can check yourself and do stuff. Except it's the government that he works for or runs, writing him a check for unjust treatment. Your headline: Trump demands $230 million from DOJ over past investigations he calls unjust. Let me give you the bullets for the robot editor, and you can sort of decide yourself how insane this is. Trump is looking for 30 million. So the numbers kind of goes back and forth. He's like, I don't know the numbers. This is whatever. Yeah, he's Trump. But that 230 is tied to the DOJ and the prior federal probes into him, all the things that were trying to put him away before he became president, and they moved. Sources says he frames it as restitution. He's going to donate to charity, but he has to pay himself to make it work. Legally, any settlement would be extraordinary, but the events of this one even filed claims open discovery and pressing questions, and the president pay himself back for that he took from the government. Politically, Trump versus DOJ demands keep grievances front and center. Essentially, all the complaints about being sued when the court doing the things. Some indictments he got, and some things need to go away. And of course, there's a shutdown. It's hard to write yourself a big check to yourself when other people are not making money. There's that. So the dollar figure, while not necessarily set in stone, is something out there. The legal theory, while also not set in stone, is out there. And the headline itself is just makes it such a blustery story that you guys got into it and we have to talk about it. We shouldn't have to talk about it. It shouldn't be a story. It shouldn't be a thing. This is what we're working with in these times like this because, we don't have Epstein files to look over or Congress doing work right now. So we have this. We also have to kind of keep the lights on and make a little money. And so right now we're going to do that by offering you something. Hopefully will help you out and gives us something in return and gives the company, Crown News, something great in return. Crown News is there to help you understand how the news actually seems like it works by telling you how it actually works. You may have a favorite type of siloed type of viewership. You may like a certain brand of news or certain particular companies. Crown News gives you a chance to see more of other things, like the things that aren't being said by your folks. You get to see the people behind the headlines, some of the stories, and some of the writing behind it, and how other stories compare on the same topic, whether it's a national story, whether it's a local strong story from where you are nearby, or a national story. Various pieces, various places, various sources have different way, and Ground News can show you that. And Ground News, great blind spot feature will show you exactly how you are being still job, if you will, blind spot in your coverage by showing what your particular silo wants you to see. What your silo kind of doesn't want you to see, and vice versa. Check it all out at Ground News. You get 40% off your badge plan. To get you the news for less than $10 a month. We use it every single day to check out various stories and sometimes mix and match some pieces to get a little bit extra spicy. Check it out at This is a Conversation Project Ground News. This is a Conversation Project Ground News and get in on great news coverage, or you may say not so great news coverage, extra coverage for all the places today. Don't forget, the wrap up stuff is our website, our email address, and the feeds, of course. This is conversationproject.com. Is our website. More about all the background stuff. Conversationinbox.com is our email address. You can chat us whether we did a good job, not a good job. And of course, the feeds and Facebook tags allow you to see what stories we may talk about. We post new stories that seem interesting. You give us your feedback by engaging on the platforms and you let us know if they're actually conversation. We'll try to pick the best ones from the ones you engage the most. Moving on, because it's been a long week so far, and it's only Wednesday, the 22nd of October, 2025 to be exact. A lot of things happening. Got to get to a lot of things early going forward, so we're going to wrap this up. And pretty good doing it in less than 22 minutes. We love you, mean it. If you see something out there we're missing, send me an email or send us a message, and we'll try to get in there in the mix or do what we can to move those things forward. Consider being a partner, consider checking out sponsors, just consider make sure you watch more of us, being a subscriber. Love you, mean it. We're done for the day. See you tomorrow.